Darwinian Economic Superboom 2025, Part 1. We can intentionally ignite a Darwinian economic superboom by shifting all taxes from production to consumption, and within 1 year, the economy will take off like a Saturn rocket. Businesses will make huge profits and wages will soar. Just remember, I did say Darwinian. Okay, first we will abolish all payroll taxes and all income taxes at once. This includes federal, state, and county income taxes. All income taxes on individual persons will be abolished, and all income taxes on corporations will also be abolished, as will all payroll taxes of any sort. And all taxes on selling labor will also be abolished. Social Security will now be funded by transaction retail sales taxes, and there will be no payroll taxes at all. None, nada, zip, zero. Employees will benefit instantly and massively. Typically, they now see about 15% of their pay withheld, mostly to pay income taxes and Social Security taxes. That comes to about $580 a month more for the typical tax mule. Okay, first of all, let's distribute all the gold at Fort Knox. Now, there are about 8,000 metric tons of gold in the possession of the U.S. government at Fort Knox and elsewhere, or so we are told. Why bother with distributing this alleged gold? Now, since it isn't being used to redeem turned-in Federal Reserve notes, there is no reason for the federal government to have even a single gram of gold. That being the case, this gold should be and will be immediately returned to the people. Bottom line, this all melts down to about 40 grams of gold for every adult citizen in the USA. At the current going rate of about $60 an ounce, that comes out to about $2,400 per head. Now, if you forget everything else in this book, please try to remember that gold bars and underground vaults are reserved for settling debts between the powers that be. Because this gold is not circulating as coins, it can never do the peasants any good, no matter what short-eyed gold bugs in Thailand proclaim. Okay, next, let's abolish every H-1B neo-slave importation loophole at once. No more imported H-1B neo-slaves. And give them all 90 days to leave the USA or face arrest and seizure of their bank accounts. Bottom line, this will open up over 500,000 existing and living wage jobs immediately. In fact, this should be the first freaking thing done, as will give instant and massive relief to tens of thousands of productive but unemployed and stabbed in the back American workers. Okay, now we need to abolish all foreign aid. Each year, the USA spends about $47 billion on foreign aid. That's billion with a B. That comes out to about $182 per year per tax mule. Most of this money is used to prop up murderous foreign dictators and bomb peasants and otherwise commit massive genocide via vaccines and other sickening devices. Let's do the whole world a favor and do ourselves a favor and stop this at once. We need to abolish the power of the federal government to declare emergencies. Only county sheriffs will have the power to declare any sort of emergency, including any and all medical emergencies requiring the wearing of masks or vaccines or lockdowns or restrictions on travel. Nor will the federal government have the power to order people to evacuate any dwelling or area for any reason, including natural disasters, riots, civil disturbances, and wars. These powers will be reserved to the county sheriffs alone. This will prevent future lockdowns like the ones that destroyed millions of small businesses in 2020 and 2021. We must abolish all inheritance taxes for individuals. Abolish all inheritance taxes on property left to individuals. A 50% tax should be placed on property left to institutions to help stop the transfer of all property all across this planet to institutions under the thumb of the New World Order. This will ensure that productive people can transfer their estate to other productive people. Next, we need to pay off all the Treasury debt as it comes due. The Treasury debt held by the public is about $22 trillion. That's trillion with a T. The yearly interest on that debt is about $404 billion. That's billion with a B. The yearly share of that interest per adult in the USA is about $1,600. The Treasury will cease all issuance of all interest-bearing bonds, notes, and bills, and pay off all these bonds, notes, and bills, etc., as they come due with Treasury dollars. Because the government can print all the money it needs, there is no reason to borrow any. The issuance of interest-bearing bonds has always been just a mechanism to enrich the already super-rich bankers. We must auction off all national forests and national grasslands. There are about 193 million acres of national forest and national grasslands. Ownership of all will be immediately transferred to the counties where they are located and immediately auctioned off in auctions overseen by the county sheriff. Concerning the proceeds, one half will be distributed to the citizens of the counties. We need to abolish all patents on all scientific laws and living creatures. No knowledge of science should be kept secret or used to enrich any individual or group other than all of humanity. This immediate canceling of all patents will spread technology and make products cheaper. And most important, no patents of any sort may be held for any living creatures, animal or human. Okay, we're going to run all income tax collection in reverse and refund all individual income taxes ever paid. First, the IRS will add up all the income taxes an individual has ever paid, and it will be repaid at the rate of $12,000 a year. For instance, if the total is $40,000, the tax mule will get $12,000 the first 3 years and $4,000 the fourth year. Be advised, this refund is structured this way to lessen discontent among the actual working people. As for the never employed layabouts, they will get a valuable lesson in Darwinian economics, and if there are enough of them to burn down entire neighborhoods, then they may live in the ruins of their own making, because rebuilding will be a responsibility of the county and no federal funds will be used for such purposes. Each county will have to pick its own cotton and no mooching off of other counties. We must abolish all so-called asset forfeiture laws at once. Our police departments have disgraced themselves by enforcing these hideous asset forfeiture laws. This seizing of property without charges should cease at once, and all seized property returned immediately. This will also keep money in the hands of productive people who earned it, and out of the thieving hands of entitled loafers. Policemen should be aware that the oath they take is a sacred commitment to our society and our Constitution, and not something to be pissed on so their department can get shiny new squad cars and free pizzas. We should abolish the right to freedom of assembly. We need to add 3 words to the First Amendment of the Constitution. Those 3 words are on private property. Here's what the new First Amendment will read. Quote, Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof or abridging the freedom of speech or the press or the right of the people to peacefully assemble on private property and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. Quote, once again, the three words that must be added are on private property. Now, this is necessary because the New World Order enablers have turned our public streets over to looting and murdering mobs by abusing the right to assemble. This right should be abolished because the real battle for freedom of speech is being waged on the web. All gatherings on private property would still be in effect. We must abolish all student debt at once. Allow all those with so-called student debts to cancel them at once by bankruptcy, and then abolish all further federal government involvement in education. About $29,000 is owed per borrower, and there are about 43 million American borrowers. Abolishing all student debt at once would allow these swindled young Americans to escape New World Order debt slavery and get on with their lives. We must adjust Social Security payouts to help prevent a civil war. Everyone should start receiving Social Security money at age 60, and that amount should be the same for every recipient. The current average payout is $1,438 per month. All lower payouts should be raised to $1,438 a month, and all higher payouts lowered to $1,438 a month. Now, please remember that the intent here is to assist the lower tier of Social Security recipients who are the most likely to join in with revolutionary activities. We want to drain that swamp, so to speak. Now, remember that I don't care much about squeaky clean fairness or anything else, and that my primary concern is to help prevent a civil war. If I can help prevent a civil war by assisting the poor and screwing the rich like I'm doing with Social Security, then I'll do just that. On the other hand, if I can prevent a civil war by helping the rich and screwing the poor, I will gladly do just that. Because if we do have a civil war, everybody will be screwed completely, and 100%. All North America will be a flaming wreckage. So a lot of people had better just get used to a lot of haircuts, because that's the way it's going to work out. I can't do any better, nor can anyone else. Okay, now let's abolish the Department of Housing and Urban Development. This swarm of loafers costs the tax mules $60 billion a year. That's $60 billion with a B, as in boy, oh boy. That comes out to about $236 per tax mule per year. Now, there are about 7,300 loafers on this payroll. We could give each a full year's salary as they ran out the door with their pink slip and whatever they can steal, and we still have billions in savings. We could pay off all of HUD's accounts payables and forgive all accounts receivables and abolish all federal meddling in the housing market forever. Amen. Okay, next let's stop the ethanol scam. Ethanol ruins engines and reduces mileage and costs about $8 billion a year in subsidies. That's billion with a B, as in bullshit. That's about $32 a year per tax mule, plus whatever the damage to your engine. Even dumbass hillbillies know this moonshine is for drinking and not pouring into your car's engine. Let's stop this ripoff. We must abolish and outlaw all toll roads and toll bridges and toll everything, etc. Tear down and crush with bulldozers all those toll booths without compensation to the owners. The great majority of people paying those idiotic tolls are commuters going to work in commercial vehicles, and they are being productive. Any revenue shortcomings will be made good from taxes on consumption. No government body, federal or county or city, may set up toll booths or require electronic tolls of any sort on any highway, road, or freeway. Period. Hey, gang, I'm ready for a snack. How about you? Did you know the U.S. government owns 300 million pounds of cheese? The government owns 300 million pounds of cheese it has stored underground, sort of like a Fort Knox for cheese. Okay, I say let's send every adult a pound. That's about $2.50 worth. Give whatever is left over to lawyers. Those rats will just love it. Then stop this stupid cheese stockpiling. Now we're going to abolish the Federal Reserve System, fire all its employees, and auction off its assets. The Fed's assets include 3 trillion, that's trillion with a T as in T-bone, of mortgage-backed securities that they've bought since 2008. That's probably the purchase price, and the real value is probably about 10% of that now, or a partly 300 billion with a B, or about 1,200 per taxpayer. Hey, we could all get a check for about $1,200. The Fed's 2,000 useless loafers will all be fired under the usual terms, and all assets, liabilities, and property turned over to the Imperial Treasury. This is a tally so far of savings for the typical tax mule. The typical employed tax mule with a wife and 2 kids will get $21,000 more a year, or about $1,500 more every month. This will be offset by an estimated $700 per month rise in sales taxes, giving him an initial estimated cash in pocket increase of $800 a month. He and his wife will also get a one-time gold distribution of $2,400 each, and possibly a $1,200 distribution each from the auction's mortgage-backed securities owned by the Federal Reserve System. Also, massive savings from abolished federal government agencies may lower the federal sales tax to about 10%, driving his monthly increase to over $1,000. Let the taxpayers themselves decide where their tax money goes. Under the new tax system, if you pay with a credit or debit card, your tax account at the Treasury will be credited with the amount. At some time during the tax year, you can log on to your account and specify what government departments you want your money to go to, and the politicians may not redirect your allocated money in any manner. The new Imperial Congress of Sheriffs, which has replaced the old Federal House and Senate, will only be able to spend money not allocated by the taxpayers themselves. Your choices will include the Defense Department, the Imperial Highways Department, the Imperial Bureau of Prisons and Executions, and so on and so forth. This reform is absolutely necessary to strip the politicians of real power and return it to the people. Without this critical reform, all the others will surely fail. Next, we need to abolish all diplomatic immunity. Every year, thousands of so-called foreign diplomats rob and assault Americans, and nothing can be done about it because these so-called diplomats cannot be arrested, period. All diplomatic immunity should be permanently abolished. If these swarms of foreign thieves and murderers don't like it, they can conduct their so-called diplomacy via televideo conference calls. The whole concept of diplomatic immunity is obsolete and is only maintained to facilitate the ongoing buildup of our international bureaucracy of the NWO and these bureaucrats cannot be arrested.